As school reopen, it's important that precautions are taken both inside and outside the classroom to prevent the spread of COVID-19. This information aims to support teachers with information and our tips on physical distancing at school, practicing health and hand hygiene, cleaning and disinfecting tips for the classroom, actions to take if a student appears sick. A key lesson learned during the pandemic is the important role teachers play in ensuring that learning continues. As school reopen, a lot will depend on teachers to ensure that children will be able to continue their education in a safe and healthy environment and make up for knowledge and skills that may have been lost. As a teacher, knowing the facts will not only protect ourselves but also our students. Beware of fake information and dangerous myths about COVID-19 circulating that are defeating fear and stigma. Some of our students might be returning to school from households where they heard false information about COVID-19. We will need to educate them on the facts. Understanding COVID-19, how it spreads and how we can protect ourselves and others is an important first step in establishing classroom procedure and protocols. Students need to understand what it is in order for them to follow the rules. Listen to their concerns and ideas and answer their questions in an age-appropriate manner. Discuss the different relations they may experience and explain that these are normal reactions to an abnormal situation. Make sure to use information about COVID-19 from reliable sources such as UNICEF and WHO, as well as the health authorities in our country. By staying informed about the situation and following the recommendation of public health experts, we can protect our own well-being and those around us. Now come to the first point of physical distancing at schools. When it comes to physical distancing, it is important that you establish some classroom ground rules in accordance with their procedures established by your school's administration as well as the protocol established by your respective country's Ministry of Health and or local health bodies and authorities. Recommended measures include maintain a distance of at least 1 meter between everyone present at school. Increase desk spacing at least 1 meter between desks, stagger recess, breaks and lunch break. If difficult, one alternative is to have lunch at desks. Limit the mixing of classes for school and after-school activities. For example, students in a class will stay in one classroom throughout the day. While teachers move between classrooms or classes could use different entrances if available, or establish an order for each class to enter and leave the building classroom. Stagger the school day to vary the start and end times and avoid having all the students and teachers together at once. Consider increasing the number of teachers if possible to allow for fewer students per classroom. Advice against crowding during school pick-up or daycare, and if possible about pick-up by older family or community members. Arrange school pick-up or drop-off times differently to decrease any large gatherings of children at a given time. Encourage students not to gather and socialize in big groups upon leaving school grounds. What should to do? To encourage your students to stick to the rules, it can be helpful to create a do's and don'ts list with them. Develop a list together around how students will greet each other, how desks will be arranged, physical distancing measures during lunch breaks. Now come to the second point, health and hand hygiene. Teachers have a critical role to play in ensuring students understand the precautions they should take to protect themselves and others from COVID-19. And it's important you lead by example in the classroom. Hand washing is one of easiest, more cost-efficient and effective way of combating the spread of germs and keeping students and staff healthy. Now let's learn how to teach 5 steps of hand washing. Number 1. Wet hands with safe running water. Number 2. Apply enough soap to cover wet hands. Number 3. Scrub all surfaces of the hands, including back of hands, between fingers and undernails for at least 20 seconds. You can encourage students to sing a quick song at this point to make it a fun habit. Number 4. Rinse thoroughly with running water. And number 5. Dry hands with a clean cloth or single-use towel. If there is limited access to a sink, running water or soap in the school, then use a hand sanitizer that contains at least 60% alcohol. For maintaining the practice, we can follow some activities like creating a hand hygiene song to sing with your students. Have students draw hygiene posters for the classroom. Set a hand hygiene ritual. You can select specific time during the day, such before or after lunchtime, for everyone to wash their hands and apply hand sanitizer. Next point is mask wearing in school. If wearing fabric masks is recommended in your school, then make sure your students are familiar with when they should wear masks and any related school policies, such as how to dispose of used masks safely to avoid the risk of contaminated masks in classroom and playgrounds. If you have students with disabilities such as hearing loss or auditory problem in your class, then consider how these children may miss learning opportunities because of the degraded speech signals stemming from mask wearing. The elimination of lip spreading and speaker expressions and physical distancing. Adapted masks to allow lip spreading, example clear masks or use of face shields, may be explored as an alternative fabric masks. Now next point is cleaning and disinfecting. Information on how to maintain the cleanliness and sanitization of your classroom. Daily cleaning and disinfecting of surfaces and objects that are touched often, such as desks, countertops, doorknobs, computer keyboards, hands-on learning items, tabs, phones and toys. Immediately clean surfaces and objects that are visibly soiled. If surfaces or objects are soiled with body fluids or blood, use gloves and other standard precautions to avoid coming into contact with fluid. Remove the spill and the clean and disinfect the surface. For maintaining this, we need to come up with some fun and creative ideas and rules with your students for avoiding high risk and high touch areas in their school classroom. For example, not touching the railing while walking up and down the stairs, or keeping classroom doors open to avoid touching doorknobs. Come up with some rules together as a group and write this down on a flip cut paper that you can later hang up in the classroom. Create fun reminders posters that can be hung in the hallways to remind others to stick to the sanitation rules. Now my point is actions to take if one of our students appears to be sick. Identifying COVID-19 symptoms. The most common symptoms are fever, cough, and tiredness. Other symptoms can include shortness of breath, chest pain or pressure, muscles or body aches, headache, loss of taste or smell, confusion, sore throat, congestion or runny nose, diarrhea, nausea and vomiting, abdominal pain and skin rashes. Now, what should we do if any symptoms can be identified? Designate a specific area in the school near entrance as a waiting room where children can wait. Ideally, this room should be well ventilated. If there are school nurses available, it is recommended that there are designated staff in the waiting area. If students feel ill or exhibit symptoms of COVID-19, they should wait in the designated room to be picked up by their parents or caregiver. Afterwards, the room should be cleaned, disinfected and sanitized. Provide the sick students with a medical mask if available. Consider daily screening of body temperature and history of fever or feeling feverish in the previous 24 hours or entry into the building for all staff. Students and visitors to identify persons who are sick. Encourage all students to stay home and self-isolate should they feel ill. Share procedures with parents and students ahead of time. There have been several reports of children acquiring multi-system inflammatory condition which is possibly linked with COVID-19. If you notice any rash, hypertension or acute gastrointestinal problems in your students, it could be indication that they experiences multi-system inflammatory syndrome and should seek medical attention immediately.